The Jungle Book is out this Friday, and Disney already thinks they've got a hit on their hands because they're saying they are greenlighting the sequel before it's out.
That's fast.
But to be fair, I mean, it's doing pretty well on Rotten Tomatoes, 100% at this point. There have been some screenings. Leo's been to a screening, not a big deal.
MVD.
Yeah, it should work.
It was in the jungle too, which was crazy.
It was?
No, not at all.
I don't know your life.
It's believable.
Yeah, I mean, they might pull out all the stops, but it's an interesting dilemma they have on their hands when making this movie, or when Jon Favreau took this on, which is that it is a live-action remake that technically no one asked for, and it is for something that is beloved, something that people remember long in their hearts from their childhoods about, you know, I mean, what do you think of when you think of the Jungle Book? You think of, you know, Mowgli and Baloo.
Yeah.
You think of singing. You might think of King Louie.
That's right.
There's just a lot of evocative images there. And
I
I'm
love the
curious
Jungle
to
Book.
see how it came out.
Yeah. Oh wait. Well, I'll tell you right now. It's beautiful. It's a stunning movie, and I'm a big fan of the original animated movie. It's one of my favorite Disney movies, and I'm also a fan of the book. And this movie is cool because it does justice to both. And before even reading anything about
really?
Yeah, even before even reading that Favreau was just like, oh, I took elements from both. Because I read about it after. I didn't want to spoil anything for myself. I came out of the movie thinking like, wow, he took elements from both and just mixed and matched them so perfectly. And he did it on purpose, and it feels that way. It feels so well put together. Like it was handcrafted and they cared about it. So it's no surprise that Disney is just like, wow, this is gonna be a great movie because we cared about it, you know?
Man, we actually put some real love and effort into this, and it worked out pretty good.
We got some creative geniuses working because of the visuals. Oh my.
So
did you know it was so good, the jungle was so good, CGI, that Favreau told the artist to tone it down. Like, it's too real. People aren't going to buy this. So they actually
there is such a thing as too real, though, especially in CGI.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which is just like, I don't feel good about this, and it's something in your head. I think it's Uncanny Valley stuff, but not technically that because it's not a human body. But what I was curious about, because when I also think of the Jungle Book, I think of, you know, I want to sing the bare necessities and float down the river. How much of that is in there?
How do you integrate that? It's surprisingly all in there. Every scene that you can possibly think of that you remember, if you haven't seen the movie in like 20 years or whatever, you still remember certain images, and they're all in, like the Baloo and Mowgli on his belly and playing with him, and the songs are in it. It's weird. They're like seamlessly transitioned into the movie. It doesn't feel like the Disney movie where it's like, okay, time for a song.
I was sure they wouldn't do it because it seems like a rough transition.
Yeah, but it works. They fit it in with the dialogue. So it's almost like when they start singing, it's a natural progression of their conversation, and then it just sort of turns into it. And they even talk like, not too many spoilers here, but like Baloo will be like, oh, it's a song. Like, do you not know what songs are because you live in the jungle your whole life? It's pretty interesting how they did it, and it works. It's really honest to the movies, and it doesn't take the audience out of it, and it just, I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It just works.
That's great because it just seems difficult, especially when you say we're melding a book and a beloved movie
that you didn't even remember about.
Yeah,
like you weren't thinking about
I know the book is substantially a little bit, you know, I mean, there's certain things that Disney probably wouldn't want to carry over.
It's much darker.
Yeah. And then we also have, I mean, for the sequel, there's fodder.
There's tons.
More Mowgli stories from Rudyard Kipling.
At the end of this movie, I was just like, why is this over? What's next?
It could have kept going?
Oh, it could have kept going. And I'm like, I need to see a sequel. They like set it up so well for a sequel at the end, and and I'm ready for it because it makes sense. It made me want to go back and watch that live action film with the guy who played Bruce Lee in Dragon. I can't remember his name right now, but he played like the adult Mowgli, and he goes back to the jungle. Remember that live action film? Made me want to watch that because I just want. You don't remember that?
I don't know what you're talking about. I
wish
I did.
There was a non-Disney movie made where Mowgli grows up, and he like grows up with people, and then goes back to the jungle, right? This movie was so good that it made me want to go back and watch that movie that you don't even remember because it wasn't that great.
I remember Disney did some, I think, direct-to-video sequels.
They did, unfortunately.
And I remember there was a girl. And
well, Mowgli meets her at the end of the animated movie.
And then she was more in this. Yeah.
But
she was more in the sequel, and I think they were going back to the jungle, but I don't think he was an adult.
Yeah, I don't know. The direct-to-video stuff, I've never really been a huge
Or
fan
they can
of.
just, you know, straight up go into tailspin for the sequel.
Yeah, just like Baloo, just like, hold on, little britches.
It's the 1920s, and we're pilots now.
King Louie just puts on a straw hat and opens a bar.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Why not? Tailspin was a great show.
That was the most confusing show I've ever seen.
I loved it, though.
As a child.
I loved it.
I did not understand where it fit into the canon of the Jungle Book.
It doesn't matter. We had Don Carnage, and he's the greatest villain of all
So
time.
I'm really glad that they're not putting Cubby. And also, there was a character in that show based on a character from Cheers, which just makes no sense.
Oh, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she was.
So-
Well, she was like the one that kept Baloo. Well, think about it. Like Baloo was sort of like Han Solo in that show, and he flew around his Millennium Falcon, and he was a smuggler. He was Han Solo. It was a show about Han Solo, like showing.
I think that's a stretch.
Well, they're related now because Disney owns it all.
Great. But I was going to say, I'm happy that we're continuing along the lines of halfway melding in the books, because that might make more sense, at least to those of us.
Absolutely. And they're getting better at it too. Like,
Yeah.
look at their live action progression, right? Like, we had Maleficent, which was like, and then we had Cinderella, which is actually really good. And now we have Jungle Book, which is phenomenal. Like, they're getting the hang of these live action remakes. So I can't wait for Beauty and the Beast. That's the next one.
With Emma Watson.
I saw a
as
clip
Belle.
of it at D23 of her
What?
walking down the stairs in her dress.
I need to go to D23.
Unbelievably beautiful.
That
Like,
sounds great. That
here we
sounds
go.
like it would be John Idaroa's dream come true. He's another host here who may or may not be
he's an Emma fan.
obsessed.
I get it, dude. I get it.
There's
Trust
a
me.
lot going on. I know we went way off track.
That's okay. That's
But let's jump back on that Jungle
nerds
Book
do.
train.
Jungle Book.
It's out this Friday.
It's out this Friday.
I'm gonna go check it out then. I did not
Good.
go to the screening, but good on you, because I really had some questions that wanted
Yeah.
to be answered.
Yeah.
And
I feel like
feel
everybody
excited
does.
for
That's
it.
a really common
Because
thing.
it's like, how do you do it? How? And apparently you do it well, is the
You
answer.
do it well. I mean, like everything, like down to the fur. Just, just get ready.
All right, Leo Camacho on record. Jungle Book. Audience, are you ready for the Jungle Book? And are you excited for what it may bring? Do you think they'll achieve it well? Leo does, because he's actually seen the movie. Let us know below in the comments, and please like and subscribe for more.